When the scientists entered the tunnels under the ice deep beneath the mountains, they found a large and high cave whose ceiling had collapsed, and the sunlight glistened through the eons of decaying industrial facilities of a long-gone civilization. The ruins indicated several interconnected factory and residential buildings. Whatever was produced here, they were human workers, no different from us in size and shape. Some buildings had up to 20 floors. The layout of a city planned according to ergonomic principles was still barely discernible. A little further away from the town, at a distance of about 10 kilometers, was a horizontal crevice from which a deep humming and buzzing could be heard. The crevice was carved deep into the rock and so high that a person could just stand upright in it. Its entrance was a room bathed in white light, the depth of which could not be discerned by the glare. In its center was an apparatus protected by spherical covers that illuminated square panels in a regular pattern of color. It seemed to be fitted between the floor and the ceiling. Slowly rotating on its own axis, it still seemed to follow its original purpose. As the researchers walked around the device, they realized that wide steps led upwards behind it, glowing white like the whole room. The higher they climbed, the more the glistening light lost its power. At the end of the steps it was pitch black. Far back in the darkness, luminous columns could be seen, along which equally luminous rings stretched from the ceiling to the floor, illuminating the rocky ground with an almost vivid pattern of light. From this, the scientists concluded that this must be where the energy came from that still illuminates the entrance today, and drives the apparatus with its millennia-long process. In the bright light, in the face of all these incredible finds, the expedition members did not see that they were surrounded by something that was not only aware of their presence, but was itself observing them, almost meticulously studying them. The longer the explorers stayed in the ruins, the more unease spread through their subconscious. Some flinched when the water next to them formed drops on the cave wall that fell to the ground splashing softly. Others saw shadows scurrying across the rock walls, which they thought were animals, and cried out in fright. The walls had invisible eyes and ears. The instruments the expedition was equipped with to make them visible were unsuitable. The people down here knew very well that they were exposed to danger, but they did not know what kind and how threatening it was. Uncertain and increasingly paranoid, the expedition members set up camp in the caves. For camping on the surface would have been unthinkable due to the depth and inaccessibility of the caves. While scientists were making incredible discoveries down here, an international crisis was unfolding on the surface. Because all countries had the same interest, namely, to claim the presumed treasures for themselves. The crevice was humming and powering something that the researchers had not yet noticed. That in turn, however, was already studying them closely.